Hi, everyone. My name is Carrie Horning. I'm the Career Connected Learning Specialist with NCESD 171. And as it has been, I am your host today again. Super excited to welcome you to the final episode of the North Central Washington Most Valuable Partner interview series. This has been brought to you by Career Connect Washington and the Apple STEM Network. And as I say each week, a win today looks like each of you leaving with a greater understanding of the services provided by these community partners and how they might help your students or your families, or how you might even be able to help them enhance and continue the services that they provide. So Kim and I had a chance to connect earlier this week. I found out we both share a mutual love and respect for the open road, but Kim and her husband take it a step further in search of the best bacon cheeseburger out there, and I love that. So but their hands almost maybe another, what was that, another little couple weeks until the third baby's born.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little, and I'm wondering if it's just my audio here, but you're cutting out just a little bit, Carrie. My third grandbaby should be born anytime in the next 2 weeks or so. So I'm waiting to hear little Carter will be arriving here shortly.
Good. Well, good. Yeah. So all those little grands and a couple dogs keep her busy outside of an already very busy work life. And I just want to say that it's not very often that one conversation makes you feel like your life has changed a little bit. But my conversation with Kim earlier this week was just that. So I'm really excited to share, that same opportunity with all of you today. So again, grab your lunch, sit back and get ready for an extra dose of professional nutrition. I'm about to welcome my guest today. So Kim, are you ready to do this?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. So Kim Pope is the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club of the Columbia Basin. And we've got a lot to cover today. So as the first slide shows, Kim, why don't you tell us a little bit about the mission statement for the Boys and Girls Club of the Columbia Basin?
So as you can see, our mission is to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. And that's our guiding mantra as we move forward. Everything that we do is really focused on what experience we can provide for the kids that come to our clubs. Not just at our main clubhouse, but we have school-based sites as well. And we are governed by a board. We have 17 board members, and that is what guides them as well as we govern our organization.
Very good. So tell us about the history of the Boys and Girls Club of the Columbia Basin.
So it started in 1994. A group of community members got together and decided that having an after-school program was essential for our community. And Boys and Girls Clubs don't just come into a community, they have to be asked to come in. And it's really the community that gets together and provides that funding for it. We have minimal fees for our families. It's $15 a month for a child to come after school. And that's at our McGraw Clubhouse. At our school-based sites, there's no cost for a family to send their kids there after school. So it's really important for us as a community to have that support, to put that funding together. And I kind of laugh, every dollar that we spend, we have to kind of beat the streets for through our events or grant writing, that kind of stuff. So 1994, this group of people came together and said, we really need this after school program. They got more community members together and became incorporated. And we opened our doors right around 1997. We had a location out on, I want to say it was on Larson Boulevard, out in Larson Housing And downtown on 3rd Avenue, there's a childcare center there now, right by Frontier. And that's where we ran until we built the club that we're in right now, our main clubhouse.
Nice, very good. So I know there are different programs and different activities that are offered there. Can you kind of go into detail about each of those?
Right. And so we run Boys and Girls Club of America programs. And we run those at all of our sites, not just at the McGraw Clubhouse. And so we've got, a list of the different activities here. And like when we talk about like My Futures is really a technology-based platform where kids, it's like they play a game and they earn badges. But it's all for citizenship or technology knowledge. A lot of different programs are run through that platform. There are always like a lot of contests. We have on here, arts and crafts. And we've had a child that created a Christmas card, and the Boys and Girls Club of Washington, the association, used our club members' card as their Christmas card for the year. So there are a lot of things that our kids can do, not just with academics, but with creativity as well. And one of our main focuses is what we call Power Hour, and it is our homework assistance program, where all kids that come to our club after school get about a half an hour of tutoring, more if they need it, either from a staff member or from a volunteer that will come in and work with them on different aspects that they need help on. There's always some little bit, whether it's 20 minutes of reading, whether it's math homework that they just need a little extra. We provide that every day for them. And then we have, some physical activity programs. It's really important for us. When kids come to our club, they have a snack. We always make sure that they get something to eat right away. And then we have, about 20, 30 minutes of physical activity. And it could be like a free play, or it could be some of these programs that are run that like Triple Play is one of those. And it's 3 parts. It's not just physical activity. It's learning about good eating habits and why physical activity is important, and feeling good about themselves. It's not just, running relay races or something like that. It's really trying to make that person a whole person and giving them a little more knowledge. So those are some that are kind of stayed and true programs that we run. But I want to say there's about 50 different programs that we can run that Boys and Girls Club of America provides like a curriculum, and then we make it our own.
Nice, nice. Okay, all right, bear with me on this question, all right? I'm gonna play a little Buck Rogers. So we're 5 years out in the future, and right now, 5 years in the future for the Boys and Girls Club of the Columbia Basin, everything is going right. You've hit the mark on everything. The hard work has pulled through. What is it that made that happen? What are the key points that happened in those 5 years to put you in the spot today?
Well, 5 years from now, COVID is gone. I just want that out there. If COVID is gone, our program changes significantly. And I know I shared with you, but when schools closed in March of 2019, we opened. And we did a little revamp here to make sure that everybody was trained. And we opened the first week of April. All day, every day, 7:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. for the families that needed us. And it was at no cost to those families through the end of summer. And so we want to get back to where we were pre-COVID. We want to have kids drop in rather than having to reserve a spot. We want to have every child have that opportunity after school to come to either this main clubhouse, or it would be fantastic in 5 years to be in every single school. And that way kids could leave their classroom and be safe, go to a Boys and Girls Club right there in that facility, and have their snack, learn some programs and have that critical after school time covered by a program that is not just sitting in front of a TV or playing a video game. It's actually doing something productive, making a kid a better citizen, helping them to give back to the community, do some community service. That would be absolutely fantastic. I'll say this is one of the first things I said as I took this position. I would love it at the end of every day when a kid is going to sleep and you say, what's the best part of your day? It would be coming to the Boys and Girls Club. And it makes my day now when parents come to pick up their kids and their kids go, can you come back in 30 minutes? I was just in the middle of doing something. Can you come back? Can you let me stay here? And it's like,
Love it.
what better response than that could there ever be for a child to want to come here?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's great. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So with that, I think there's actually a lot of volunteer opportunities for helpers. What does that look like?
Yeah, during COVID, we really limited the number of people that could come into our clubhouse. But as we're able to open up a little more, we really love having people come and help be tutors. And an example is I have a retired math teacher that lives by me. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm retired. I would really like to help. It's like, oh my gosh, come in and help our kids, especially over this last 18 months or so. They have really struggled coming back up to level with their skills. And here you would have this person so knowledgeable one-on-one with them to sit and just talk about where they're struggling with math. A lot of times we found this during remote learning that kids are on their Zoom meeting, but they didn't want to ask a question. And then afterwards, they didn't have anybody, they didn't have a resource to ask. And so having people side by side with them, helping them out and checking their homework and asking them if they need help with that is fantastic. One of the other things I'm quite proud of, we got funding for a greenhouse. And so we have a greenhouse right in the back of our building here, and having somebody who is knowledgeable about plants, you would not want to see my garden, but having somebody knowledgeable about plants come in and really talk to our kids about that is fantastic. And we've talked to the Master Gardeners group, and they are willing to come in and work with our kids. So those are things that happen in the clubhouse. Then we have a couple other things like Thanksgiving dinner. We have provided a sit-down Thanksgiving dinner for our kids and their families for years and years. The last one and this year are a little different. We have to do bento boxes and send food home, but we want it to be a traditional meal for those kids. But that has been so touching for the people that volunteer for that. I mean, we have people that truly make turkeys, make real mashed potatoes, make real gravy. And when they serve that to the kids who may never have had a meal like that before, or they ask what it is, they're amazed. And it's like, here you have this family that may not have the ability to provide a meal like that to their kids. This may be the last meal that child gets that's any substance before school the next week. So that's very touching for our volunteers. I think that they volunteer because not only do they want to help in the community, but there's a real need for those kids to have that connection with somebody that is a great example of where you can be in your life. And I think that's very satisfying for them to come and volunteer.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, just to go a little bit deeper into that, if somebody does want to volunteer, what does that look like right now? Do they need to call in first? Do they just show up? What's the process?
Well, we we have to screen anybody that is volunteer.
Mhm.
They cannot have contact with kids unless we do a background check. And so they do need to call into the office, and they can talk to Rebecca Medius, is our director of programming. And she is like spearheading our Thanksgiving dinner right now. That one, there's not interaction with the kids for that, except for like passing out boxes to go home. But if somebody wanted to volunteer in one of our sites, then they would have to, they fill out an application. There's that background check, and they have to have some training on like identifying child abuse. There's about 4 hours of training. So if somebody's going to be coming back time and time again, we just want to make sure that they can identify and respond appropriately to any kids that may be abused elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if somebody wants to just drop off food, can they do that? Or is that again, just maybe a phone call into the office?
Yeah, depending on what it is, we do
Yeah.
have people drop off like for Halloween bags of candy,
Yeah.
and they just show up and drop off things like that. If it's food for our kids, then we need to make sure that we get that put away right away, and all of that. If it's for Thanksgiving, that really needs to be a contact, so
Okay.
that we don't end up with 2,000 rolls and no fruit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, good. That's good to know. So every podcast, I ask this question, and I always kind of frame it up with, I'm a feeler. I love those feel good stories. And so I know you've been with Boys and Girls Club of Columbia Basin for a long time. I'm sure there are many, but can you tell us about a connection that maybe that you've made over the years that has stayed with you?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of chatted about several, but I'll talk about I I have 3 sons. My oldest son, who's actually going to be a dad here pretty soon, was the naughtiest boy ever. And people always said, be thankful you have boys and not girls. And I thought, have you met my son? Because I can't imagine anybody more challenging than him. So I tend to be drawn to what I kind of called my little hoodlums. It was the kids that might have gotten in a little bit of trouble while they're here. But you know what? They're great kids. They
Yeah.
need somebody. And so there was this one time these 2 little boys got into a scuffle, and they're sitting up front, and I see them and I call them into my office, and they're like, crying. They're mad at each other. One hit the other one in the head. And we went into one of the other rooms. I go, oh my gosh, I really need you guys' help. We need to set up for this meeting. And we went in there and we just were kind of talking, and one turned to the other and he's like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I did that to you. And that was like, it's okay. And they became friends. I mean, it was like, this is the way it should be. It shouldn't be that they get sent home. They get sent home to their family and they're suspended from the club. Can we teach our kids to work things out? And so those boys are like special to me. They just really, touch my heart, because I had to live with a little boy that was kind of like that. And there's hope for everybody if
Yeah.
they can make that connection. And that happens so often here. I will, just praise my staff. I mean, you can look at this slide here, 1,670 registered members pre-COVID. It's different now because we're limited how many kids we can have. But I could tell you that my program managers knew kids as they walked in the door, knew which ones were struggling, knew which ones were wearing the same clothes they wore the day before or didn't get dinner the day before. They cared about them. They made that connection with them. That's what's so important about our club being here and providing that after school time for all of these kids in our community.
Yeah, Absolutely. So, I mean, you touched on that real briefly, but is that something that people could also drop off as well, clothing, or does that need to be handled in a certain way for, cleanliness and all of those things?
Yeah, we don't really have storage for clothing. We usually try to keep like a few things, a few different sizes, because kids have accidents. What I always suggest, like this weekend, is coats for kids here in Moses Lake. And so if people will donate like winter coats for kids, that gets distributed across the community,
Nice.
or talk to like schools. We do keep a small supply here just because we have kiddos that need it, but we really don't have storage available to really have like a clothing closet or something like that.
That makes sense. So you mentioned schools. How does the Boys and Girls Club actually interact, specifically with schools?
So it's been a long time partnership with the schools, and Michelle Price used to be on our board when she was here as superintendent. So it really is a strong connection with them, and they've been partners, for as long as I know, where they would provide busing to our sites after school. And that continues right now with the limited number of kids and the busing struggles that the school district has right now. We bus from from schools that don't have sites at that school. So like Knowles Vista and Lakeview and Frontier and Chief Mo. I mean, they all come here. Longview. We have a lot of schools that come to the McGraw Clubhouse, and so we rely on them for that busing. The after school programs, the school district came to us years and years ago and asked if we would open up a site in the schools and run that program for them. Again, tried and true programs. And so we work real closely with all of the principals at those schools that we're at to make sure that it's like a continuation of the learning that the kids are getting. So if they have a special math online program that they're running and they want us to help the kids with that, we'll do it. We'll make sure that we're helping them because we're all working with the same kids here. I mean, they know the kids that need that extra help and we want to help them. We want to make those kids have a better experience while they're at school and after school too. So the school district provides funding for those in-school sites through like title funds, or right now the ESSER funds are kind of earmarked for, to combat learning loss and help those kids after school. So it's been a long time partnership. We love that. Again, we work with the same kids, and really we all want the best for them. So it's been a great partnership over the years. And this clubhouse right here, the McGraw Clubhouse, is on school property. We're adjacent to Park Orchard Elementary. So yeah, we're like this. We're BFFs.
I love it. Good. So in terms of the schools again, and that after school program, do you have enough volunteers for the tutoring and helping with the homework?
We could always use more. We have the couple people that come to the McGraw Family Clubhouse here, but each school-based site, we have 5. If anybody had an affinity to volunteer at one of those sites, that would be fantastic. They all run the same time. We run right after school until 6:30 Monday through Friday. And the people that have volunteered, it's like, we don't want to tax them. It's like, can you give us 1 day a month or 2 days a month or 1 day a week? We want to work around what they have as an ability to give. And we'll certainly do that.
Great. All right. That's excellent. Well, I want to make sure I open it up for questions. We're down to just about 4 or 5 minutes, but I do have to say one thing about that story you told, the 2 little guys who kind of had a little rumble. My middle brother and I maybe would rumble quite a bit. And my father used to do the same thing. He'd make us stand nose to nose. We'd have to help with the project, but then stand nose to nose and tell each other we loved each other. And that, that ends a fight very quickly, or it becomes very silent very quickly. So that's a great tactic. I remember that personally. So, well, good. So, are there any questions out and about in the audience for us? I don't see anything coming through. But I feel like that was terrific information, Kim. I just, talking about most valuable partners, everybody who has come in and stepped up and shared their information, we're getting really terrific feedback. And I feel like this won't be the end of it. Even though today is the final in this series, I do believe that we're going to be picking this back up in the beginning of the year. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm very appreciative of you coming in. Oh, wait a minute, but it looks like we have a couple questions here. So first question is, what would it take to start a program in other communities in Grant County?
So that's a great question. And it's kind of the same as how we started up here. We are in talks with other communities that are close by, and trying to see if there's enough community interest for us to go in and provide an after-school program there. And last school year, we tried to use some of the CARES Act funding and open up in Ephrata, Quincy, Royal City, and Mattawa. And you had to expend that money by like November 30th. So there was no way that we could get it up and running and sustainable, because we certainly don't want to open up somewhere and close. Right. And but that I've had like a couple small communities reach out, and they could come under like the umbrella of this Boys and Girls Club. But that's how it kind of starts. It's like that community asks for help and setting up a program like that. And then Boys and Girls Club of America has to charter all of the sites. So even if they go directly to Boys and Girls Club, that probably gets put onto like a club that's local to kind of oversee that, at least initially. But that's how it all starts, is that community interest and community involvement.
Nice. Nice. Well, one quick last question. Are the Boys and Girls Clubs that are here in the area, are they connected? Are they networked together?
So all of the Boys and Girls Club in Moses Lake fall under us. We are like I won't even say the parent. We have a clubhouse and we have our extended sites. And so they're all like one organization. And then like Benton and Franklin County down in Tri-Cities, they have 14 or 15 sites. They're all under Benton and Franklin County. Okay. So again, Boys and Girls Club charters a site. And so if I open a different site, I have to ask for permission to open one someplace, and it gets inspected, and we keep track of it every year, where we have to do safety assessments and reports to Boys and Girls Club of America.
Okay, so like the Boys and Girls Club in Brewster then is kind of its own entity, even though it's still Boys and Girls Club.
So the one in Brewster is actually, it was started by Boys and Girls Club of Snohomish County. So, which is odd because it's so far over there. But they tend to, Snohomish is actually in Nespelem too, maybe Chewelah. They have a lot of tribal land that they start up Boys and Girls Clubs. I talk to the CEOs of all of those clubs every other Tuesday morning, and we do collaborate. And so it's like, oh my gosh, I am having a tough time getting open here or getting a connection here. And so this is one of the things, of all the places that I've been before, Boys and Girls Clubs share information readily. I'm having a fundraiser, it's great, you guys should try it. And it's like, seriously, I have a policy here, let me send you a copy of that. And it's like, that does not happen at the place that I was at before. And so that is so welcome, because everybody wants everyone else to succeed. And in order to do that, let's help each other out. And it has been absolutely fantastic.
That's terrific. That's actually a beautiful way to end this too. We are at 12:45, so with being respectful to everybody's time, I want to make sure that that we kind of ended on that note. But again, Kim, thank you very much. This was amazing information. Again, there are certainly a lot of great opportunities that the Boys and Girls Club of Columbia Basin offers, and opportunities for people to come in and step up and help out in their community. So thank you very much for joining us and being one of our most valuable partners. And maybe we'll see you again next year.
Yes, well, thanks for the opportunity. Obviously, I love talking about my club kids, so sorry I've taken up everybody's time, but you are always welcome to contact me here if you have additional questions. I'm happy to answer anything.
Awesome. That's what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to take up our time, so we appreciate it. So, all right, everybody, we're signing off. Have a terrific, well, I mean, you know what? It's holiday season, so enjoy the holidays, and we'll see you hopefully at the beginning of the year with another round of the NCW MVP series.
All right. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks,
Have a great
everybody.
day.
Bye-bye.